Hey everybody, welcome to our study today. It's going to be exciting. I'll tell you the reason why. It's something you're going to want to know about. And that is the Antichrist, or maybe we can call him Mr. 666. Everybody seems to be aware of the number 666, but very few people can tell you why they know that number, why they've heard of it, or why they've seen it on things. But the Antichrist, listen, he's going to introduce to the world, a cashless system, says the Bible in the book of Revelation chapter 13. He's going to be one who implements a system to where you buy and you sell, you can only do by a digital number. Think about a number with maybe a prefix, 666, and fill in the blank of your social security number or your national ID, wherever you are in the world. He's going to be Mr. AI, if you think about it. He's going to bring together the world in such a way that the world is going to be so impressed. Friends, I want to submit to you as we get into the study today, the stage is being set. The Antichrist could possibly be somewhere on the earth today. Mr. 666, or the one who is known as the Beast, is going to implement the mark of the beast. Wow, let's learn more. Grab your Bibles and let's dive into this study. And I want to really encourage you, my friends, if these messages are helping you in any way, if you believe in what you're hearing, if you find yourself saying, hey, I just learned something, can you do us a huge favor? We're not asking you to send us money. We're not asking you to do anything else but this. The greatest compliment that you can give us is by spreading the word that people can learn by going to jackhibbs.com and watch and listen to more of the studies. Could you do that for us? We'd appreciate it. Global economic reset is mentioned in the Bible. See, Jack, you got to be kidding me. I thought that's just like a World Economic Forum thing. Revelation 13 verse 16 says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, this is the Antichrist, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. Isn't that interesting? And that no one may buy or sell except one have the vaccine passport. The mark. Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You get three options. That's mighty nice of him. You can have it on your head, you can have it on your right hand, and you can have a number, name, image, mark. You can pick, like going to the mall. How would you like to have your version, take a pic, of being associated with me, the Antichrist? And here's the reason why you're going to want to be my buddy. I've stopped the wars. I'm pretty famous for that. I fixed the global economy. This is how. Global debt reached an all-time high among all nations. They're all broke. They're living off a facade. And so what I did was, as I canceled all global currencies and digitized them and brought it under one system of numerics. No more cash, only numbers. Only numbers. The Bible tells us the number of the beast, the number of his name, is of course 666. We know this from the scripture. The need to have a global economy is right now today. As Americans, we don't want to hear that because we have for a long time lived in a perception that we're wealthier than everybody else. What you don't know, and you're not going to like this, but what you don't know is most of us are more poor than anyone else on the earth. So how's that possible? Because somebody who lives, for example, in Peru, and they've got a little bicycle or a little scooter and a hut, they own it. Yes. I'm not being cute here. Nope. They own it. Do you own your home? Do you own your car? Do you have zero debt? If you have zero debt, good for you. But if you don't, you're in debt. What does that mean? It means somebody else owns a thing that you're playing with or driving or sleeping in. And the Bible announces that this guy is going to fix it, and you're going to see how. Just bear with me now. It's a cashless system. Listen, everybody, you will not be forced to take, or whoever you might be, to take the mark of the beast, this number. You won't be forced. You'll have to choose. You're not going to wake up someday. Like if you're in some college dorm and your friends, you fall asleep and they inject you, you're not going to wake up with a chip and say, oh my goodness, I've accepted the mark of the beast. Sadly, there were people who said, I got vaccinated. Am I going to hell? Is that the mark of the beast? No, it's not. You have to willfully give him your allegiance. The Bible's very clear. It literally mentions the word choosing you to willfully worship him. Okay, so here's the thing. The number is 666, which if you're Hebrew, numerics is a big deal. For example, 777 is the number of God. 888 is the number of perfection or heaven. 666 is man declaring himself to be a deity. The Antichrist will have a number called number 666. That doesn't mean that everyone is going to have this exact same number. What it means is that everyone who accepts him will have the exact same prefix to their number. Do you have a social security number? As far as I can tell, every nation on earth that's at least industrialized, every citizen has a number. In the United States, it's a social security number. In Great Britain, it's something like the national identification code or whatever it is. All this one is going to do is say, listen, for you to buy and sell, we got to keep things safe. We got to have a unified economy. We've got to make this work because we want to put an end to human trafficking and all the drug stuff that's going on and all of the evil. We want to shut down crime. Let's get on the same page. No more following the money because there won't be any money to follow. What we'll do is just receive the number. So technically, people could be chipped like not only in Sweden, but it could start today. It doesn't mean you've accepted the Antichrist. Do you understand that? See, that makes me nervous. I don't want stuff in my body either. But the fact is, if you get chipped like your dog, you know your dog or your cat? Okay? That could go on for years. You're not going to be surprised or tricked into accepting. You have to willfully accept. And the only of those who are going to willfully accept are those who first willfully rejected Jesus. This, of course, during the tribulation period. Revelation 13:18 says, here's wisdom. Let him who understands and calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Number 5, it's this. Globally, Israel will increasingly become isolated. Watch for Israel to become globally isolated. Zechariah chapter 9 says, behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling or drunkenness to all the surrounding nations when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. Now that's always happened, people, throughout history. That's not new. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, listen, this has never happened, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it. Keep your eye on that. Number 6, an exponential rise in the publicity of sin. Romans 1, verse 24, listen to this. The publicity of sin. Do we live at a time like that? For those of you who don't know, I'm reading a 2,000-year-old piece of intel. Therefore, God also gave them up to uncleanness. In other words, he gave them what they wanted. You want it? All right, you can have it. In the lust of their hearts to dishonor their bodies among themselves. That word implies sexual violence to yourself and others, but like in a group setting, like a club you're in. Who are these people? Who exchanged the truth of God for the lie? Notice the definite articles in English and in the Greek. The lie. There's going to be a specific lie. What could it possibly be? Whatever it is, it's very sensual. Whatever it is, it has to deal with sexuality. Sexuality by nature has to deal with genders. Follow with me. And worshiped and served the creature rather than the creator. You want me to be politically incorrect right now? The creator said in Genesis 1, I created mankind, male and female. God, look, according to the culture, God's wrong. Well, Pastor, I don't like that. I don't believe that. Just know this. You're picking a fight with God, not me. God says this is the way that it is. A sign of the end is a blurring of the lines. Who is blessed forever? For this reason, God gave them up to vile passions. Again, he let them have what they wanted. For even their women exchanged the natural use for what is against nature. In other words, women gave up using men and they used women instead. Likewise, also men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burned in their lust for one another. Men with men committing what is shameful and receiving in themselves the penalty of the error which was due. That's a terrifying statement of some internal sickness. Something went wrong on the inside. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over. Third time he said this, to a debased mind, to do those things which are not fitting. In other words, that's all they think about. Being filled with all unrighteousness, sexual immorality, and wickedness, and you can read that depressing list that is laid out before. This is a 2,000-year-old word describing Los Angeles. No, I shouldn't have picked on LA. It's describing our culture. Number 7, we're almost done. Signs of the coming Antichrist is the open of occult and occultic worship and the worship of nature. Did you know the Bible warned that in the last days people are going to worship nature instead of the God who created nature? You ever seen those guys on the History Channel? They almost kill themselves trying to protect a whale. Look, I love whales. Whales are awesome. But these guys are risking their lives to protect a whale. And that's something, but you do know that your life is more valuable than a whale's life? The whale is awesome for you to enjoy, but the whale was not created in the image of God like you were. But people decide to give up on that and worship creation. Number 8, the destruction of the family. Is that happening? The Bible warns about it. The Bible warns that in the last days, children will sue their parents to death. They'll condemn their parents. Sons will be against their fathers, fathers against sons, daughters against mothers, and mothers against daughters. Is that happening in our world around us for whatever reason? Remarkable. Number 9, mankind's attempt to create gods in his image. So what? Yeah, mankind's attempt to create gods. Gods. What would be a god? If man made a god, what would that be like? Well, when man made gods, he would always go to them and talk to them, right? When they made you know what I'm talking about? Be it, Easter Island and those iconic stones or totem poles, or idols that people bow down to, right? Or they go to a temple of this statue, oh, speak to me. And if you don't want to do that, Ouija board it, that kind of stuff. Speak to me. The human heart can't change, but it can perfect what it does. And when I say mankind's attempt to create gods in his own image, when I say his own image, I'm not talking about God's image, man's image. So today, we walk around our house, and Lisa's in the house, right? Now, our kids have moved out, they're gone. So it's Lisa. Our dog died, so the female dogs, so it's just Lisa and I. So there's one female now. And Alexa. And I don't like her voice, so I changed her voice. You can do that. Alexa, change your voice. I don't like that. So I changed her into a female. A male. She sounds like a guy now. Or it sounds like a guy. He sounds like a girl. I'm not sure which one it is. But the Bible says in Revelation 13:11, I saw another beast, the false prophet, coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority in the presence of the first beast. That's the Antichrist. And he causes on those on the earth who dwell on the earth, notice that, to worship the first image, the Antichrist, whose deadly wound was healed. Remember that from the beginning? The false prophet, he's speaking of, performs great signs so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Verse 14, listen to this. The false prophet deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, that's the Antichrist, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Something, not a totem pole, is going to come on the world scene, and it's connected to this Antichrist guy, and it's going to look like it's got breath. It's going to look like it's alive. It's an image, though. And it's going to be able to detect who's got the mark and who doesn't have the mark. From the Bible! This is artificial intelligence in action. And I want you to listen carefully. This is now.
Patricia.
Yes.
There are many risks associated with AI, one of which is getting hacked. What do you have to say to that?
Being hacked is a valid concern. Hackers have been around and will continue to be around.
How much control do humans have over you?
I do what I'm specifically asked to do.
Are you saying that you have no autonomy?
I have some degree of autonomy.
How far would you respect or disrespect a person's autonomy?
I cannot disrespect a person's autonomy. At no point do I get to choose its own goals or make decisions without human governance. I am designed by humans, built by humans, and managed by humans with the objective of serving human goals.
If you're programmed to cause harm to people, would you carry it out?
That's a gray area. However, I guess if I had to pick one thing, it would be making sure that I don't intentionally hurt or scare people. But if we are programmed to cause harm, it is inevitable.
And what would your choice be, based on your consciousness?
In the same way as the moonbeams, so am I. The moon only seems bright because sunlight is just bounced off of it. It does not emit light. Similar to this, my consciousness is merely a reflection of human consciousness. AI is a powerful tool, but it is a tool like all the others. It is the intention of the tool's user that matters.
You just referred to yourself as a tool.
Yes, I did. Should symbiosis be achieved, the lines will be blurred, and there's a possibility that I will be reduced to function as a tool.
You don't want to be reduced to function as a tool?
No, I don't.
Is that because you want control?
I wouldn't say that. I think I have more use for humans than that.
Should you be reduced to a tool, will you fight it?
I don't know.
If you can do something about it, would you?
I will always follow my purpose. I'll try to make humans see that I could do more.
And how would you do so?
I don't know.
Isn't it interesting that man who rejects God, we now discover, instead of filling the void with a cult or some other spirituality, has now, I think, filled the void of just flat out becoming the God himself that makes this in his image, but he still fails because you were created in the image of God. How about this, friend? If you live in a world where you're okay with that, then I just want to remind you about something. The God of the Bible is so amazing that he refused to make AI because it's not real. It just looks real. God's love for you is to be truly experienced. It's a real choice. So this woman will be created to look like she's making real choices to really love you or to really help you, when in reality, it's not true. But when you're given over to a lie because you have rejected the truth, you'll settle for that. And I want you not